gonna do is exactly what I have mocked up here. So I've taken the rails that were here and we are moving them down here, just above the metal. And so that's what I'm gonna do all the way across, and then we're gonna cut this excess off. And because we need the extra wood actually is part of the reason. And I actually don't need these walls this high, especially for what I'm planning on doing a little bit later in the future. This does give us nice extra cargo space, but the thing is that the wheels and axles that are on this now, they can't handle a lot of the stuff that we throw at it with this much cargo space up here. That is going to change in the future, but for now we're going to bring this all down because we need this extra wood for some animal enclosures. So that's where we're at, and that's what we're going to get going on. All right, so I cut it down. As you can see, it is cut down. I am actually a lot happier with the way this looks. You can kind of see it's wavy. It's wavy, but that's okay. I'm going to take a sander to it. I have a hand planer, and so my plan is to hand plane the really high ends down and then sand everything else. The problem with doing that is, one, I can't find my hand planer, and two, I am actually on call tonight. So with the saw, it wasn't loud enough where if my phone went off, I wasn't gonna hear it. Once I get the sander going, it is pneumatic, and my tank is not quite big enough to keep up with all the sanding, so it comes on quite frequently. So I'm gonna have to do that another time because I've got to be able to hear if my phone goes off, because I have a limited time to get to the hospital if I get called in. But anyway, let's take a look at this. I'll kind of do a walk around and show you. Like I said, the edges aren't super straight, but I'm gonna take care of that. It's what I get for using a Sawzall, but I don't have a track system or that for my other saw. All right, so started out real good. That's super flush. I did take some out of this, but like I said, I'll be taking the sander down. So got some high spots. So the trailer is not like completely square. Plus the wood I used to build this is slightly warped, but it actually works out pretty well. This is the plywood I actually bought. Everything else is recycled wood, but the frame, the railing itself is not 100% square. But if you look down, you can kind of see the wood is warped too. Not that big a deal for me. It works, it functions, but yeah, I mean, it looks a lot better, shorter, and I think it's going to be it's going to add some strength to the walls as well, because now the wood is flush up against the railing, and it's shorter too. So we're not going to have, before we would have, the walls would flex in when you would ratchet things down. It's not going to flex in hardly at all once it's full. And I also have carriage bolts. It's carriage bolted to the frame itself. So there'll probably be a little bit of flex in, but not a whole lot. Not like we had with the higher walls. So that's done. All that wood's in there. I'll be able to take and use that for animal enclosures that we're needing to fix. But that's pretty much what it looks like right now. So I don't know if this is gonna make it into this video. I had to cut a lot out from the other video. I had about 45 minutes worth of stuff and I cut it down. And for those of you that saw the last trailer video, it was about 22 minutes long. I'm trying to keep the videos down under 20 minutes, preferably 10 to 15 minutes. I have had a couple people say that our videos are a little bit on the long side. But with that being said, I cut out a bunch of the explanation of why I'm doing this to the trailer. A lot of this is maintenance, trying to make some improvements on this trailer itself. I got this trailer for like $850, $900 a few years ago. And then I had talked about possibly doing a axle exchange and putting a heavier duty axle and some SUV tires on it, or 4x4 tires on it. And I was told I would be better just to buy a bigger trailer. Well, as we know, everything's gone through the roof. There's no way I'm gonna get a trailer like this with heavier duty axle for under $1,000. So I have a trailer. It is a 5x8. Definitely has capabilities of being able to haul more. It's just limited by the 2,000 pound axle that's underneath it. So this winter, the plan is to revamp this thing, and it'll get flipped over on its end, and we are going to put 3,500 pound axle underneath it, and I have some 4x4 wheels and tires that will be going on it along with a spare. So that's going to be phase one. This is just kind of getting it ready and up and running for the season. We have wiring issues. I've got to put the license plate still up on the tail. I've got to fix the side markers and try to figure out why the actual tail lights won't come on when I turn the lights on. Everything else works, it just won't, the lights won't come on when I turn the headlights on. So I've got to try and figure that out. But everything else, for now, we're just making it so that it's usable. The winter will start phase one of the overhaul on this bad boy. And phase two, I'm going to just not go into phase two right now. We're gonna leave that as a surprise. I have some pretty cool plans for this thing, and but I've got to do a little more research. All right, it's the next day. I am no longer on call, so as you can see, I've got my air hose out, and we're gonna hit this up. I still cannot find my hand planer. So yeah, we're gonna just kind of hit the sanding up and see what we can do. I put the kids to work and they've smoothed out a little bit. You can see the sanding block right there. I had them out with sanding block. I did find a way that works pretty good, but it doesn't work that great because it fills the garage up with smoke. But I did use my grinder to take some of the high ends of things down, and then I'm hitting it up again with the sander. So with that being said, let's get sanded. Now you may be wondering why I took and torched this after sanding it all down and everything. I haven't torched the whole entire thing yet. I'm gonna have to pick up another thing of MAP gas. I think that can's getting a little low and I need it for other things. So I torched the parts that I sanded down and the rails and everything. And the reason why I did that is I don't have any stain or paint or anything like that. I still need to be able to use the trailer. By charring it, the surface of the wood, it gives a sort of protective coating on it. It also takes and draws out some of the inner saps. So I don't know if you noticed some of the areas that kind of hit a little bit longer. I was hitting the knots and that because generally those hold sap a little bit better. And you heat that up and the sap starts bubbling out. Once that dries, it creates like a tar and kind of seals that knot and everything. So it doesn't, I don't know if it necessarily doesn't rot, it won't rot as quickly and easily. This wood is several years old. It's already it's sun bleached. It's already started to kind of rot per se. And so basically what I've done is I've gone through and torched it, and that creates kind of a semi-seal. Now that doesn't seal it for a super long time, but it will keep it in decent shape and usable condition. The plan for this wood, and that in the long run, is I'm basically going to hit it with a type of rhino lining, the outside, and I'm gonna basically do the entire trailer in a sort of protective liner. And that's after I get everything taken down. I'm going to do each piece on its own. So right now I'm not super worried about things. I just wanted something that was going to last for probably this season until I can start tearing things apart and get things coated eventually. So that's where we're at. That's pretty much going to call it for now. The only two things I have left to get this portion of the project finished is I've got to find the license plate and put that onto the tailgate here, and then I've got to put the corner markers in. And I think we'll save that for the next video. Those corner markers might be a bit fun because those bolts are rusted in there pretty good. So if they are and we drill them out, that'll be another fun thing that I get to do, that I have a cool tool and some cool supplies for if we end up doing it. Super excited for that if that happens. If not, if I can get them right out, then we will just we'll treat all of the hardware and probably repaint it again and put the new hardware in with the new lights, and we will be done with this portion of the project. So if you have liked what you've seen, go ahead and hit like. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. 80% of the people viewing our videos are not subscribed, so we would love to have you guys back as return customers. And go ahead and hit that subscribe and that bell so it'll let you know when we upload. And with that, we're going to end this video. Have a wonderful evening.